Hello, Alex Carmela here, video marketing strategist, going live with all of you today. And this is part 2 of our 4-part series on the 4 shifts you need to create really powerful and transformational videos. And specifically in this video, I'm going to be talking about the number one thing your videos must do in order to go from mediocre to out of this world kind of good. This is an absolute game changer and must be done really well. So I'm excited to go through and talk with you about all of this amazing stuff. This video is coming a day later than I had planned. I'm on a road trip from Boston, Massachusetts to Austin, Texas, moving, and it's been crazy. So apologies for the delay. And if you are here watching with me live, drop me a hashtag live. I see a bunch of people here live, or if you're watching the replay, drop me a hashtag replay and we're going to jump in. So I'm going to give you all that number one thing you must do to take your videos from really kind of mediocre to out of this world kind of good. And I'm going to go through some examples of videos that were kind of mediocre and what you could do to what we did to kind of tweak them. So I'm going to go through some real-time examples as well. All right, so y'all ready for what this number one thing is that's going to change the game with your videos? And the most successful videos do this. The most successful content does this overall. And that is the best videos and the best content will challenge your audience's belief system, right? It's not just there to check a box. It's not superficial. It's not shallow, but it is leaving your audience feeling like by the end of the video that they've been like transformed in some either really small way or really big way that leaves them questioning like, wow, like I could be doing this differently, or I should be doing this differently, or I never realized that there were all these other possibilities or opportunities, right? Like the goal of your content is not just to like feed them more and more stuff to shove into their brain. There's enough info out there already. So what I want to do is even go more specifically in this video, like what does that mean to challenge your audience's belief system? What does that mean to make sure that your audience leaves feeling like they've had like their world rocked, right? So let's talk about 3 ways that like you know that you are challenging your audience's belief system. So let's talk about way number 1. So way number 1 is that your videos are not just checking a box. And what I mean by that is they're not just assuaging your social media guilt. All the time I see entrepreneurs like posting tons of videos and tons of posts every single day, and they have this like guilt that like if they don't post every day or multiple times a day that like they're doing something wrong, right? And in reality, what's actually happening is a lot of mediocre posts or videos being put out there that just end up cluttering people's feeds, and it's there to, make us feel like we're doing our jobs versus give our audience the win and the transformation that they need. And so we want to move from just checking the box to giving people a light bulb moment or an aha moment. And you don't need to be posting a million times a day to do that. In fact, with my students, I teach a 4 post per week strategy with 1 video at the center. And it works really, really well. So I want us to move away from, again, a million posts that clutter the feed, videos that just check a box, and instead move toward giving people a light bulb moment or an aha moment. And what we really need to remember is, like, by the end of your video, what do you want your audience to be taking away from that video? What's the biggest learning that you want them to have, right? And once you kind of have that in mind, you want to remember that content is a conversation, right? Content is a conversation. I say this all the time. And if you're not taking notes, like get something to take notes because this is so important. Content is a conversation, right? Meaning when you put a video out there into the world, you want to not just be thinking about what your audience needs to hear, right? But also what they're already hearing from other people. There's so much stuff out there. There's TikTok and YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook and just everything. Like there's so much different sources to consume information, right? That you want to make sure that you're very aware of how your content participates in that conversation, right? And so when we're talking about your content can't just check a box, right? It might just be kind of checking a box if you don't have an understanding of what exists, because maybe you're just saying the same thing over and over again that everybody else is saying as well, right? Let me know if this is resonating in it with you. You can just give me a yes in the chat. I see if people are watching. So let me know you're here and watching. Let me know if you have questions as we go through it. But this is so important. You want to make sure you are treating your video content like a conversation. And I'll give an example. And I sort of gave this example already, but for myself, like I know that a lot of my students now, the conversations that are going around in the video marketing space are that you need to constantly be posting every single day. You need to post or create videos. You got to repurpose your videos. You got to be everywhere, this like Gary Vee approach. And I completely disagree. Like, I don't think you need to be posting every single day. You can if you'd like to. I don't think you need to be on every social media platform. And how I like to contribute to this conversation is giving case studies about, for example, myself. When I stopped doing all the things, posting on all the platforms, that's actually when I started to make more money. When I stopped posting every single day and instead trained my audience to show up at certain times and put out more high quality content instead of just a lot of content, started to make more money then too. So we need to be showing our audience there's a better way, there's a different way, and not just, again, just checking a box and saying, oh, we put out this video, so let's hope people flock to us. We need to give them that light bulb moment that participates in a bigger conversation. So if this is making sense to you, if this is resonating with you, comment yes. Let me know that you're with me so far. And that is the first way we know we're challenging our audience's belief system, right? Let's talk about the second way that you know you're challenging your audience's belief system and you're truly making a deeper impact. And I think this might hurt some feelings, but I'm going to say what I need to say. And I know this can be an unpopular thing, especially if you're using the system, but try to hear me out. Try to keep an open mind, because I only say this from a place of love. So the second thing that you need to keep in mind when challenging your audience's belief system is that your videos cannot be superficial or motivational. And I'm going to give examples of what that can look like. But in your videos, you need to be able to explain why you believe the things you do. You need to be able to like create original content, not just the regurgitated crap that everybody else is putting out there online. I see the same stuff over and over and over again. The best people are creating original stuff. And so I literally did a scroll through my feed today, and I collected some of the like motivational quotes or questions that I see. And I'm looking at them right now. So a couple of them were like, I saw people posting like, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, or posts about seeing the glass half full, or how you got to keep the hope alive, or how you should be hustling and be consistent. And it's just the same regurgitated stuff over and over again. And it's feel good, but like everybody's saying the same stuff, right? So it's essentially like sort of meaningless because people are saying the same stuff over and over again. So I'm not a big fan of like posting motivational type quotes. I think your stuff should be motivational, not as the end goal, but as the product, right? It happens to be like a symptom of your content, I should say. So what I mean by that is you want to be completely focused on getting your audience a win, right? You want to get them a specific result, right? Motivation is not a result, right? That's something superficial. But let's say your goal is to help them master the 3 principles to healthy weight loss in 2022, right? It's going to be motivational because you're giving them the tools and the skills and the things that they need. So it's going to be a symptom of what you do, a product of what you do. But if the end goal is just motivation, it ends up just being really shallow. And like, what win are they actually getting when they work with you, right? And again, sometimes I'll say this and it upsets people because there are a lot of people who are, going into Canva and just like repurposing Canva templates and the same motivational quotes over and over again. And I just don't think that's the best way to actually stand out as a leader online. You've got to write your own stuff. You've got to challenge your audience's belief system, and you've got to make sure that your unique voice is heard and you don't sound like everyone else. Okay, so that is the second thing. So far we've talked about when we're challenging our audience's belief system, you can't just check a box. You've got to make sure you're participating in a bigger conversation, right? Two, we've talked about not just being superficial and motivational, but explaining the why and being really original with your content. And then lastly, this is so important, and I hope this really changed how you think about things. But you want to make sure that when you create your videos, you are asking yourself, why has your audience not reached their goals? What that means is asking yourself, why doesn't your audience have a solution? And here's the thing, do not take this as a cop out. What I mean by that is a lot of times I'll say this, I'll be like, why so like a student, right? In my accelerator or skills level, I'll be like, why does your audience not have a solution? And they're like, well, they just don't have my stuff. It's like, okay, maybe, like sometimes maybe your stuff is very different, but there's so much stuff online right now. There's, again, YouTube and TikTok and LinkedIn. Why haven't they moved forward? Why is all this information available and they still haven't moved forward? Right? We're not living in the 1800s where there's no such thing as Google and the internet and all this other stuff. It's so important to make sure that you're asking yourself, why haven't they moved forward? Right? So for example, for all of you, right, I teach video marketing. I teach about live and pre-recorded videos and how to educate your audience through video and get them to convert through video, how to create those powerful connections. But there's a million other people who are doing the same thing. So I need to ask myself is, all right, there's a million other people who are also doing video marketing. Why haven't you moved forward? Why haven't you gotten the results that you are looking for? And there's things like feeling overwhelmed with tech. There's things like there's just too much information. You're not sure which direction to go. There's things like shiny object syndrome. Like there's all this stuff that like I am constantly realizing and asking, because when you understand, which, like why people haven't gotten to a certain place, you can start to challenge their belief systems, because the only reason people don't move forward and buy is because they're missing clarity. They're missing clarity on why you are the person to help them. If you're a coach, they're missing clarity on why the thing you have is the thing. They're missing clarity on why this solution is the right solution, and they're not sure if it applies to them, right? They just feel like it's an option, but there's no urgency around moving to the next step. It doesn't feel like something they need to take ownership over now, right? And when you understand what's keeping them stuck, you can create videos that challenge those belief systems. So I can create videos if I know there's the reason people aren't moving forward is because there's too much information. I can create videos challenging people on why video should be the priority over so many other things. But if I'm not even aware of what's keeping them stuck, I'm not going to be able to challenge that belief system, right? So for those of you who are here live or watching the replay, let me know that this is helping and that this is like giving you your own light bulb moments. I see someone saying, write your own stuff and challenge your audience. Love it. Don't be superficial, be original. Amazing. And what I wanted to make sure I do for all of you as well is give some examples of videos that were kind of mediocre and how some of these titles were transformed. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share my screen. All right. So let me know if you can see my screen right now. I'm sharing through StreamYard. And I'm going to give some examples. So example number one is in the fitness industry, personal trainer. Example number two is going to do with a life coach. So example number one, the topic of the video that this person created was called Workout for 10 minutes per day, right? And she basically just went live and talked about how it's super effective to work out for 10 minutes a day. and you got to do something. Here's the thing. Again, the fact that this person's creating any type of content, getting on camera, I love it. Amazing. But I'm always going to be the person who's like, we need to do better. We need to push this to the next level. There's so much competition out there that like we got to stand out. And here's the thing. The amount of people who are saying work out for 10 minutes a day, I see this all the time. It's regurgitated, overused, superficial. Like it doesn't mean the same thing it did before, right? There's just too much stuff out there. So we need to, again, think about content as a conversation. So here are some titles that I came up with instead. So I'm going to reveal some of these titles. So here's one title. Instead of work out for 10 minutes a day, here's a title we could use instead. Why working out for 10 minutes a day is prescribed and what most people don't tell you about this process. So we're challenging their belief system around the process of the 10 minutes a day and like what's some things you might be leaving out about the process, right? Let's look at another title. Not all 10 minutes workouts are created equally. And here's the best way to use your time. So now we're challenging them on, all right, you work out for 10 minutes a day. I know you know that. I know you've been told that. I know you might be doing it, but not all 10 minutes are the same. And here's how we take this to the next level, right? Again, content's a conversation. This is acknowledging what people already know and what they've been told and taking them to that next level. Here's another one. Why you should stop doing so many exercises in your 10-minute workout and instead choose one powerful exercise, right? So you're tweaking their belief on like how the time is being spent as well, right? And this is how you're coming up with like fresh and original stuff that's participating in this bigger conversation. So if you're really seeing the difference from how we went from this really kind of bland workout for 10 minutes a day, rah, superficial, to like diving deeper and questioning, getting people to question how they're doing things. Comment yes if you see the difference and if you're really starting to understand that difference. All right, let's look at the next piece. Let's look at the life coaching example. So here's another one. The video topic that one of my students had was, setting goals is super important if you want to get what you want in life, right? So that's the topic. And again, the amount of people that I see online talking about goal setting and SMART goals, like this stuff is just like in one ear, out the other. So how are we going to get people to pay attention? Let's look at some ways that we can get them to pay attention and challenge their belief system. So instead of setting goals is important, we could say something like why so many are failing at goal setting, right? And 3 pitfalls to avoid if you ever want to allow your goals to come into fruition. And remember that we talked about earlier how important it is to acknowledge why people are getting stuck. This is you calling out why they are getting stuck, why they aren't moving forward. Let's do another one. The number 1 goal hack you've never tried, but is going to change your life, right? Again, it's you saying, here's something you haven't tried in the goal setting space, right? This is something that's different. And let's do one more. 3 pieces to effective goal setting that you're likely overlooking or underestimating, right? So this is you saying like this right here, 3 pieces to effective goal setting. That kind of feels like overused and like been done before, but adding on this objection handling where you're basically saying, okay, pause here. Don't worry. I'm not going to tell you the same stuff, but this is stuff you're probably overlooking or underestimating. So in your video titles and video topics too, it's important to call out some of the objections that people might have. So another example of that could be like, for example, for me in some of my videos, I'll talk about, why video was so important in 2022 or something like that. And then in parentheses, I'll say like, even if you hate being on camera, or even if you have no audience, or even if you're tech phobic. So calling out those objections people have also tend to make your videos stand out and challenge some of those belief systems as well. Awesome. Hey, Marie, it's good to see you. Perfect. So I hope you guys have gotten so much value. If you are watching this right now, Let me know you're here. Let me know what your biggest takeaway has been so far. Again, this is part 2 in the 4-part video series on the 4 shifts that you need to make in order to create transformational videos. Comment done so I know that you have finished this video. And I also just want to like give you all the opportunity. If you haven't joined yet, I know a lot of you who are watching have joined, but if you're someone who hasn't taken advantage and joined the Video Skills Lab yet, I want to invite you to join for $9 a month. So if you're someone who wants me to personally help you with your video marketing strategy so you can build an audience who raves about your work and build profitable video content, you can join with the link in the description of this video. But essentially for $9 a month, you get live coaching. We do 2 Zoom coaching calls a month. We do 1 live stream a week where we answer your quick questions. And we also have an entire library of on-demand content. So this is like an out of this world valuable type of membership where I will personally help you with your video strategy. So the link is in the description of this video to join. I see Dennis is here, Nancy's here. Hey everyone, it's good to have you here. Glad you can make it. So the link's in the description of this video. I am going to be going live tomorrow, and I see Marie saying it's an amazing value. Haven't joined. Awesome. Thanks, Marie. I'm going to be going live tomorrow for part 3 of this amazing video series. I'm in the process of moving, so I'm not sure exactly what time, but I'll try to give you all notice if you're attending live. But otherwise, I hope you got so much value out of this video. If you watched live, drop me a hashtag live right now. If you watch the replay, drop me a hashtag replay. Let me know what your biggest takeaways were, and I will look forward to seeing you all for day 3, part 3 of this series. Talk to you soon.